The Daltons got it in their heads to rob 2 banks at the same time. 2 banks on the same damn street.
Ну чё, всех привет, приятного просмотра. Так, а что у меня есть? У меня нету... И куда
Story
мне
was
надо идти?
Bob Dalton's girl was always riding him about how he had no
это мои
ambition.
союзники.
Oh, you're nobody next to Jesse James, she'd say. Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeyville just to shut her up.
Right. It's always the woman's fault.
I'm gonna kill you, Dad.
Это мы мазилы.
Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off. Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property. Their first mistake was pulling a job in their own damn hometown. The boys grew up in Coffeyville, so everybody knew them. The bank teller tricked them, telling them the time lock on the safe wouldn't open till 9:30. Well, that gave the locals enough time to prepare an ambush for those sons of bitches.
You got us a hero. Put holes in him.
Все готовы, замечательно просто. Я же показал сюда. Ну ладно, погнали дальше.
The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently. First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months, and now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta wait the son of bitches out.
But this bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns. So he went in there alone to confront those criminals.
Опа, лестницу нам дали, да?
One of the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
But he paid
Блять, я
him no
упал.
mind.
Что за сказки, я не понимаю вообще.
He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank.
Что за придумать сказ какие-то?
Then he figured out how to hit the
по-всякому.
Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting.
А, понятно, идем сюда.
From above. Fortunately, a water tower was right there.
Да я понимаю, что отклонился от истории. Я просто так прогуливаюсь.
A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did.
Вот он прикольный.
It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
Нигде не залазили. А, вижу. Взрыв, да.
We've got company.
Heroic men like him, who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free. Like Jim Bowie and Davy Crockett, who died defending the Alamo.
Son of a bitch! Sorry.
Ага, попался.
You better hide. Brother, I'm gonna make you pay for that.
Что ты мне не делаешь?
Over there!
Они все забрали уже, очуми просто.
That's Silas Greaves.
What the hell?
Как тебе
Blam!
повезло
Blam!
просто.
He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons.
Я мог бы им мужикам открыть.
His name was Silas Greaves, and when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Хороший рассказ вообще.
Sorry,
просто.
kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened.
Давай третий, да?
It was early evening, not high noon. I was late to the party and Coffeyville was already up in arms. The Daltons blew up the safe and were all set to hightail it out of there. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies.
Любовник. Ха. Лидер, любовник, лох. А почему лох?
I'd been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless.
In for the kill.
And finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeyville.
Что-то я не понимаю вообще.
Hey, you got us a hero.
And those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all
Примат
directions.
стреляет, блин. Готов.
I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose them. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons, and they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons, which wasn't any surprise, because those 2 families have been feuding forever.
Стрелять-то не
And since the
понимаю.
Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the
Да
Heimhoffers,
ёпт.
whose daughter recently married a Smith.
Я времена не понимаю в этой игре, по кому где стреляют.
Shoot him down. They ain't getting away with this. Come on, we gotta get out of here. I think they know who we are. Hey, stupid, how do you want this?
Двоих замечательно.
Well, bullets were flying every which
Sure
way as
did.
all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeyville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens.
Куда мне наверх идти? Блин, знакомое здание. А, не, он убежал что ли отсюда уже? Очуметь просто. Я уже понял, что он убежал.
The Dalton boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least 2 of them to escape. The third brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work.
Да блин, я же не поднимал. Хорошо сидел я. Прекрасно я сидел. Нет. Так, секундочку, давайте посмотрим прокачку. Казнь ближайших врагов, давайте возьмем. Осталось только вот это вот прокачать, и все. Ух, золотая пушечка у меня. А что, мне не сюда, что ли, надо?
It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Reeves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. And I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
Gonna send you to the bone order.
Есть, готов.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeyville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him?
А, наконец-то.
But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
Ну что, продолжить? Честно, я не знаю, сколько я уже прошел этой игры. Сколько она пройдена.
We'll get those suckers.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this.
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
We'll track them to the ends of the earth.
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws. But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
Мужики, здорово. Я по воде, а вы как все по суше, да, бегаете?
It was early fall, right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell.
Это свои здесь.
It was tough to stay on a true course, so we kept an eye out for landmarks. It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color, red as blood.
И что дает мне эти деревья?
The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded. The vigilantes had spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
Не люблю этот звук.
Bury them in the swamp. Plant them where they stand.
Блин, ну как всегда. Я неправильно кнопку нажимаю. Не привык к этой игре я.
That's it for you.
Вообще пиратство не убил его. Какой-то сталкер становится. Или метро. Ну, если я убил его здесь, значит мне сюда.
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet. But I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends.
А, вот он по мне стреляет. Вот он какой-то новый.
The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause.
Где это динамит проклятый, блин? Вообще пофигу, стоит по барабану вообще. С динамитами забесили меня уже. Динамит, динамит, динамит. Кидает, 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 кидает. От этого звука у меня уже сами руки начинают чесаться. Как будто меня укусил уже комар.
And my reinforcements was nowhere to be seen. Point being, I was under serious attack.
Kill that goddamn bounty hunter.
Почти.
I'm ending you.
Кто это такой? Что за терминатор? Нам сюда
Well,
по-любому.
A barn materialized as if right before my eyes. I scrambled up top to get a better view.
А, типа у нас выросло.
But just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them. But that goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was. Steve? So I just started walking, and pretty soon...
Oh. Oh.
Steve? Steve!
Huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
А что за единицы сюда прибежали?
Indians? They were Indians?
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention. Now,
Блин.
where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
So, where was I?
The Daltons.
Right. See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred thing. It's a bond like no other.
Вот это, блин, захолустье.
Bounty hunters! Stop that, son bitch!
Правильно. Не увидел.
Bounty
Как дурак
hunters!
проиграл.
Stop that, son bitch!
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet. But I did find a few of their cousins. You Kansans breed like rabbits. More Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what. But hell, what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Какой замучен, видите, динамиты.
Kill that cocksucker!
Ай, блин, а.
Just happened! Somebody kill that son bitch! God damn you! Let's just have this!
Сколько у вас там много-то, а?
Shoot, I dare you! Keep shooting. I don't mind. Ain't bothering me none. Shit!
Это смельчак.
Yeah, you know you can't be.
Так, держимся.
I'm ending you. Ready to meet your maker.
Костер какой-то появился там.
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere, standing together against anyone who would threaten them. And that's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps?
Yes, it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting at me...
А как убили-то? Через сквозь всего, что ли, стреляли? Ведь как мне бороться с этим говном? Понятно.
But among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces.
Что, думал, что не увижу тебя, да? Опачки. Но я все не собираю, конечно.
Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
Так, окей. Все. Я прокачан на максимум.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben.
Понятно,
I set out to do
дробовики.
something. I do it.
Можно сказать,
Surrender just ain't in
с
my
характером.
nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
А, вот что изучал. Понятно. Нет, сейчас... Опа, кто-то упал. Что делать-то?
Right about
Опачки,
then,
здорово.
much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit.
Ты как тут вообще сидел, я не понимаю.
But it turned out that they had me.
Take him out.
Понятно,
I'm
все.
sending you to hell.
Все ясно. Я так и думал. Что тут что-то нечисто.
The Daltons had played me like a
Tough
fiddle.
after all, isn't it?
Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Сядь давай,
Oh, yeah, but I
пожалуйста.
was in a
Did you
fight.
hear about that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
You're
Well,
talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't think it'll even float.
so anyway,
Don't be
Ah,
stupid,
visual.
Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh God,
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off it, Mr. Breeze?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. It was time to settle this once and for all.
Спасибо, что мне дали попользоваться этим пушкой.
Bob and Grad weren't about to come at me one at a
Все
time.
готово,
They were
замечательно.
in this together. Two brothers side by side,
Ой,
determined
только
to
не
take me
так,
down.
а.
Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
Куда? А как их двоих победить-то, я не понимаю. Я это не понимаю. Как их двоих победить-то? Я же их... Блин, я же первый раз тренул, почему ты не попал по нему? Сейчас, секундочку. Зафиксируемся ему, который шляпа поменьше. Блин, ну как так? Я же так хорошо тянут был второй раз, а. Есть готов двоих.
A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled 14 years later, he moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers.
Естественно, убил, нифига себе. Вот это пару событий, я не думал об этом.
My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told.
Зимой последний, что ли, получается, или нет?
It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
Вот это пора событий. Не самое удачное ограбление поезда. Понятно. Ну, я думаю, на этой ноте остановимся уже, господа. Сейчас я на это нажму.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains.
Он со мной говорит, даже когда я на паузу нажимаю. Офигенно. Ну что, на этой ноте я остановлюсь. Увидимся в следующей серии других прохождений. Все, удачи вам и пока.